this is part 2 of a 2-part series. So if you haven't seen part 1 yet, please go back to that and then come back to this one. Thank you. Okay, so it's next morning, Wednesday, and I got to take care of this little 10-degree part where I did not cut them first. And the reason I did not cut them first on the table saw is so I could get it into the fingers of the dovetail fixture. And I just got a little bit to go. Now I could go ahead and tilt the blade on the table saw like that. And I think that's going to maybe make these pieces a little bit uneven. So what I'm going to do instead, and I've already started, I'm just going to clean this up with a hand plane. So I've already done this one, and this gives me an opportunity to work my hand tools. And I'm going to have the same problem down here, but what I'm going to do is it's sitting flat and flush right in here now. So I'm not really worried about that, and I'm going to attempt to put a bottom in this that's going to just fit directly in here. So in the meantime, I'm just going to get these corners flat. I'm going to round over these edges anyway with some sandpaper. So I think this will work just fine. Okay, ready for the glue up. All I really did is I sanded the insides. I'm going to be rounding over the edges, and I didn't want to get rid of the dots right now, and I'm going to sand the outside a little later. So when I do my glue ups, I use my old Tight Bond 2, and the whole French is really good at an auxiliary glue bottle. And I mark these with either Tight Bond 2 or Tight Bond 3. And I like putting a little bit out here. I got my wet rag ready. I've got my square ready. Schmutz. So this is just a piece of mail, and I'm just using that for a palette. So it should be relatively simple here. Let's see, we're gonna need some here. I love these solder brushes for this application. Just works really good. And I like using a lot of glue on my glue ups. Okay, it's a couple hours later, and I'm still letting this cook. I let my glue ups dry overnight, so not a big deal. I did not have enough wood for the panel, the bottom panel, and the shelf or the hand tool divider right here. So I got a couple glue ups here with walnut, and I only really had one piece of cherry big enough to put at the bottom on this one. So we're going to tackle it again in the morning. Hey guys, it's next morning. Time to start taking the wood out of the clamps. So this is going to obviously be for the cherry one, and this is going to be for the walnut box. Okay, I'm going to work on the center handle first, since that has angles. I think that's going to be a little more interesting. And I'm making this 7.5 inches. So now I've got to measure for the centerpiece right here, and this could be difficult to measure. Almost like 14 3/4 at the top and 13 1/4 at the bottom. And what's a good way to measure that? So what I did is came up with an idea. I took the two pieces that were pieces that I made just in case I made a mistake on the dovetailing, and I can hold them like this, and this will give me the length that I need. So next process I got to do is come up with a profile for the top. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I'll be back to you. Okay, so a good way to draw an arch. I want to draw an arch over here. So I got to get my lovely assistant, and one way to draw an arch is if you can flex a ruler like this. And we're just going to trace, I marked 2 marks here for the height of the boxes. And then we're going to go like this, and we're going to draw an arch on here. Okay, go ahead. That's all you need to do. From here, all we need to do is cut that off on the bandsaw. Okay, now I got to find the center of this, and could be a little difficult, especially if you measure it over here. But hey, by the way, I got this Pro Tape center point ruler, and this makes it real easy to find the center of things. So you've got the normal scale at the top, and then a half scale over here. So I'm at 13 1/8, and I come over here and identify 13 1/8 right there, and boom, I'm there. Now what I want to do, draw a line here, and I want to measure an arc that's close to the top. Let me see, right about there. Okay, and then I want to come down the thickness of a quarter in order to draw the little radius. And then I've got to measure I'm going to make this. All right, this is another center finding rule. These center finding rules are terrific. So put it on center, and I'm going to go out 2 1/4 inches. I'm going to draw a line here, another line here. This is high-tech geometry. Then I'm going to use my trusty quarter and put that in between the lines so that the lines are touching all sides of the quarter. And then I'm going to draw a small arc. And that's how I'm going to get my circle. So what I'll do is I'll draw a hole where the center of this quarter was. And then have to cut the rest of this out on the saber saw. Okay, I got this set up on my saw. Yeah, nice arch. Time to knock the pins and tails down. Okay, I've been sanding for the last 10 minutes. Spared you guys the agony of watching someone else sand. So they're coming along pretty good. Now for these tops, remember I had this little bevel on here. What I've been doing, I've just been cleaning that up with my little block plane. And since I rounded this edge, also I'm just going to round all these edges with my sander. Okay, so I spent the last half hour sanding, and it's time to put the bottom in. I love this black walnut, don't you? So there's different ways to put a bottom in. I chose not to put a plow or a dado in here in order to inset the bottom. Another way would be to get a piece like this and cut it at a 10-degree angle and have it just sink in. But I think I'm just going to have it overhang like this and have a nice big foot on it and round those edges. I think that's the easiest and most attractive thing to do. We have another smaller version of this inside, and that's how that one looks. Now I gotta do is cut the width. Okay, with the foot and the bottom, I think that looks pretty good. I actually like how that the foot of that sits on these things. Or I should say the tote sits on the foot, the bottom of the totes. What do you guys think? Now I got to glue and staple the bottoms onto the totes. Okay, all done. Gotta decide what kind of finish I'm going to put on here. Not really sure yet. Maybe polyurethane, outdoor varnish, maybe, I don't know. Haven't decided, but they look pretty good. Happy with it. Dovetails came out really nice. I like the arch, I like the handle. Actually, I like everything about it. So hopefully you did too. Okay, so these how they look now that they're done, and I think they came out really nice. My wife has given the seal of approval. My daughter says she loves them. And they just got to decide whose is whose. So thanks for tuning in today. Well, these are fun little projects. I've been meaning to experiment with these dovetailed compound joints for the last couple of years, and I finally got to it. And I think I picked a good project. So hey, you guys know the drill. If you like my content, please like, comment, and subscribe. Until next time, I'll see you on another episode of Bob's Woodshop.